I'm a nutter, apparently. I know that's not a common English term, but and I know it's a British term, and I think the guy who made the comment, where is it? Not there, not there. Where the heck is it? Oh, there it is, right here. Is born in Britain. Yeah, he's born in the UK. So nutter is, I think he defines it somewhere. Crazy. Obviously, nutty, lunatic, crazy. So I'm a nutter. Uh, there's a comment on a recent video, like 2 videos ago, where I testify to a miracle, testimony of a miracle. And those who don't believe, they don't believe. And, so let me just read this. I'm going to try and educate this guy or anybody, and anybody who watched that video, or anybody who has any questions or doubts about the existence of miracles and what I said being a miracle. Uh, I mean, if you are dead set against miracles happening, then you have your eyes closed. And I can't open your eyes. It has to be God, I guess. So this man, referring to me, this man is in it for the money. In other words, I'm only researching the Armenian genocide because I want to make money. Somehow he comes to that conclusion. Yeah, I mean, he says that, right? This man is in it for the money. He says that. Um, Start punctuating. I mean, I know what you're saying, but use some punctuation, please, just so your English is clear. I don't want to assume you're saying something that's not true, but you're saying that I say that I'm in it for the money. Dude, I mortgaged my house twice, refinanced my house twice, and had to sell it. Nobody does that if they're in it for the money. That's my money that I've spent, right? My money that I've invested in this. I'm not making any money. I'm hoping that financing for a project will come. So in that regard, that's how Hollywood works. So if you're thinking anybody who works in Hollywood is just in it for the money, the vast majority, like 97, 98% of people who work in Hollywood, it's just a 9 to 5 job, right? Not everybody in Hollywood is rich. There's a tiny percentage, just like in the population overall. There's this top tier that's exorbitantly wealthy. Everybody else is just working a job, a gig to pay their mortgage, or if they have one. I no longer have one, right? But um, in it for the money. Yeah, everybody who gets a job is in it for the money. If you mean that, absolutely, and I don't know what's wrong with that, right? But I'm literally the opposite of that. I've sold my house essentially for this project, just so I could keep working on it. All right. So then he says that I believe that because I walked into an Armenian bookstore and saw another Armenian, there is a miracle. So clearly he watched the whole video because I didn't tell that story until the end. And thank you for watching the video. And I know in another comment you said I should thank you for watching, and I do thank you for watching, and I do thank you for commenting, and I thank you for bringing material. Like, this is good material for me to talk about. Definition of a miracle. I didn't just walk into Armenian bookstore and meet an Armenian. I walked into an Armenian bookstore looking for something specific. It was only the second time I'd been in that bookstore, and I was only there for this tiny window of time. And the only person on the planet who could have provided what I needed, literally, and I listed them, the only person on the planet who could have provided what I needed walked into that bookstore, overlapping in that tiny time frame. And even the bookstore owner said, this guy never comes in here. So those are just a couple factors that demonstrate what a miracle is. I was seeking something specific, and I was completely at a loss, had no idea how I would get this done. And within minutes of those thoughts, the answer walked in the bookstore. It's not an Armenian. He happens to be the only Armenian who could have given me access to the family. I can't go into detail as to why that is. What I can say is the family, there's a chain of title, right? The rights to the story descend through the lineage of a person. And the only person that could have given me the rights to that story does not associate with other Armenians. In fact, that person has one other Armenian person in that person's life, besides the guy this young guy used to work for. So if you haven't watched that video, this Armenian walks into the bookstore who worked for 7 years in the law office of the guy who translated the Soghomon Tehlirian trial. That guy had a personal connection with Soghomon Tehlirian. That lawyer in that office had known Soghomon Tehlirian back in the late 1950s. That guy went on to translate the court transcript and was still connected with the family. And this young guy that worked for him, because that guy passed away about a month before all of this happened. And that young guy that worked under him was like taken under his wing, like an adopted son, and invested in. And he took him along with him to visit the family. And so that guy passed away. So the only person that could have possibly connected me to the family to get me the rights to this story that I had just discovered in that tiny window of time. All right. Don't take it from me. Let me introduce you to a guy, not this guy, but this is an interview. This is on a YouTube channel called Kinda Christian. So this guy is an interviewer. He's skeptical. I encourage you to go to his channel and watch this whole video, but he's talking to a guy named J.P. Moreland. And this guy, J.P. Moreland, has had a profound influence on my life. He's like one of the top 50 thinkers, most influential thinkers on the planet. Like on a list, he was voted as one of the top 50 influential thinkers. So this guy will define kind of what a miracle entails. Let me turn the volume up.
And there's a way that scientists are able to tell the difference between a coincidence and something done by an agent. Yeah. And that is that if something happens that's a very, very small probability, but there is something about it that makes it special, besides all the other possibilities that could have happened, it was done on purpose. Example, I deal myself a perfect bridge hand on the first deal, and there's a $500 pot. And my deck is my collection of cards is very improbable, but so is yours, because we both have the same number of cards. But there's nothing special about your hand. It's just some hand or other. But there is something special about my hand, namely, independently of the fact I got it, namely, according to the rules of bridge, whoever gets that hand wins. And so it's the combination of my particular combination of cards being highly improbable, plus being a kind of something real special compared to the others, that indicates that I cheated. That I cheated. I dealt myself the hand. Now, when you take a look at miracle claims, a lot of times they're highly unlikely to have happened. But secondly, they're independently special. For example, they were exactly what a group of people was praying for. Right. And then it happened. And so it's that combination that provides beyond reasonable evidence that there was an intelligent agent that brought this about. In this case, it would be God. And this test has almost no false positives. That is, judgments that this was done by an agent when it really wasn't. So it's a very highly reliable scientifically based test used in forensic science, linguistics, archaeology, one dirty dig after another, and things like that.
All right, so J.P. Moreland is a professor of philosophy of science in particular. He has a master's in chemistry and a PhD in philosophy of science, and also a PhD or a MDiv, no, not a THD in theology. Incredibly brilliant man who, okay, I don't need to elaborate on J.P. Moreland, but if you weren't able to track with what he was saying, there's nothing I can do for you. Subscribe and share, by the way. Share this video, subscribe and share.